Hey guys, I'm cmasupra and welcome to another Company of Heroes 2 multiplayer video. I am once again playing as the Germans, my opponent is once again the Russians, and we are playing on a map that I have never seen before. I had never seen it before this game, and I didn't even catch the name of the map in the loading screen because I didn't realize the game was loading, and so when I looked down at my taskbar I saw that Company of Heroes 2 had just loaded a game, and so I never saw the loading screen for this map, and so I don't have a clue what the name of the map is. But this was my first time seeing this map, so at the beginning of this here, you will see me doing a bit of reconnaissance on this map, trying to figure out what is what, where are the choke points, where are the walls, where are the houses, stuff like that. Just trying to figure out the map really, really quickly on the fly, which is something I do quite often every time there's a new map. I just go into auto match, and if I happen to find the map, then I learn it in that first game by exploring it in the first few minutes. So this is the game that ensued when I did that with this map. So I'm doing a typical German, I was going to say engineer start, but that didn't make any sense. Typical German start of a single pioneer, two grenadier squads, and then after the two grenadier squads, I believe I'm going to get an MG and then more grenadier squads. I might get a mortar. I know I got a mortar at some point this game. I can't remember when it was, but I know I got a mortar at some point. But this build order I'm doing for this map is actually very grenadier heavy, and the reason for that is because I kind of treat grenadiers like riflemen from Company of Heroes 1 when I'm learning a map for the first time, because I need mobile infantry. I don't have a clue where the flank spots are, where the choke points are, stuff like that. So if I place an MG42 somewhere, I need to support it really well. Or if I don't use an MG42, I need to have a mobile army so I can go cover myself where I am exposed, wherever that may be. Obviously, I wouldn't know where that was because this map is brand new to me. And after this game, I kind of understand this map, and I actually like it quite a bit, but it's also kind of a bit too narrow of a map. It feels a lot like Saint Mary Glees? I don't think that's the right name. There was one map in Company of Heroes 1. Saint Dumont, I don't know. It was a custom map. It was a map the British could win on very easily. Saint Mere something, I don't remember. I feel like Saint was in the name. But it feels a lot like that map, except this one is wider than that map, and thank goodness it is. But it feels a lot like that map, and it seems to play out a lot like that map. However, in this game, as you will see, it doesn't play out as one-sided as that other map tends to play out, because typically with that other map, if you pushed on any of the sides, middle, left, or right, you're pushed through the whole map, and so there was basically just a straight line somewhere between the enemy base and your base where your territories were in the line, I guess. That's where they changed hands. So if that made any sense, you will hopefully understand what I mean. If you don't know what I mean, then don't worry about it, because this map plays somewhat like that map, but it also plays very differently because it's wide enough to where flanking is still possible, and in this game you will see a ton of flanking going on. A ton of flanking. So here we can see a very interesting strategy by my opponent. He just lost a conscript squad. That's not the strategy, though. He's made a forward HQ out of that house at the bottom right corner of the screen. I don't know what it is. I've never made a forward HQ in this game. I'm sure it's not called a forward HQ. But he made one there, and that was just weird to me. It's the first time I've ever seen one of those in this game. And as you will see in this game, he defends it so heavily. I mean, it makes sense that he defended it so heavily. It's like right in the middle of the map. It's right at the middle VP at least. So it makes sense that he would defend it heavily, and then the fact that this is a narrow map means that if he has the middle, he can mostly control the sides. Not to too much of an extent, but he can mostly control the sides. If you look at the minimap right now, you will notice that I am actually cut off. He captured that one point at the top right corner of the screen, that red one over there. He captured that point and cut me off from the entire right side of the map, and so the only thing I'm getting resources from right now is the one point located on the screen at the top of the screen. There we go. That you see my grenadiers next to. So that's the one and only resource point giving me any resources. However, if you continue looking at the map, you will also notice that I have a Pioneer squad going around the back of my opponent's front line, which here is the front line that we're looking at right here. I have a Pioneer squad going around the back of the front line and capturing points and cutting him off from resources. So we're cutting each other off from resources. I just lost a Grenadier squad there. That is not good, but it does kind of balance out with the fact that he lost a conscript squad. But as I was saying, we're both cutting each other off. He's cutting me off. I'm working on cutting him off. He is going to try and stop me here pretty soon, because there was a conscript squad somewhere near my Pioneer squad over there. But if you look at what's overall happened so far, he's pushed me back into my base. He's cut me off to where I'm getting very little resources, and I have cut him off to where he's getting very few resources, but he has control of the middle of the map, which is pretty powerful on a map as narrow as this one. However, he's lost a bit more in terms of manpower than I have. So I might be losing the manpower, not manpower, I might be winning the manpower war and losing the territory war. But the manpower war is what really matters in the early game like this. If you're able to cut your opponent off from munitions and fuel, like I'm doing right now, the manpower war is what matters, not map control war. And I am winning the manpower war, and it's just a matter of holding on long enough, holding on with your very little income long enough to where you can come out with a counter or figure out how to counter your opponent's strategy based on how he plays and push him back so he gets pushed off the map and you can get some territory and start teching once again. Look at this flamethrower squad sitting in the house, suppressed. I was amazed that they didn't actually fire at me, but then they started firing at me. I was just like, oh, now I gotta move the squad. I didn't want to have to move the squad. And that flamethrower has quite the range. That is much longer range than it had in Company of Heroes 1. I don't know why I'm so used to the Company of Heroes 1 flamethrower. I've been playing Company of Heroes 2 for long enough now, but I'm still amazed by the range of the flamethrower every time I play this game and use a flamethrower. He did lose a engineer squad, the flamethrower one, in fact, and so that's another 240 manpower gone for him. He didn't kill any of the men in that squad, they're just sitting at less than half health, so if a conscript squad or some other squad shows up and fights my grenadier squad, they're gonna drop like flies, because they have no health left. Enemy squad is dead. I must have just killed another squad of some sort. I don't know what I would have killed, but I must have killed something. Conscript versus 2 Grenadier squads. Who is going to win? I think the answer is very obvious. You will notice this game that I used a lot of rifle grenades, and that is partially because my opponent did cut me off in the early game, and so I know that if he's cut me off in the early game, the manpower war is what matters, and if I can hurt him in manpower by spending what few munitions I have on rifle grenades and killing his units, then I will, in the long run, be better off than if I were to, say, I don't know. I don't know. But I will be better off if I can hurt his manpower, because if he doesn't have manpower, then his munitions and fuel do not matter. By the way, the reason I was saying I don't know earlier was I totally lost my train of thought, so we're just going to ignore it. All I can say is that hurting his manpower is the way to go, because he cannot tech without manpower, and he cannot maintain his map control without manpower. And right now, he is hurting for map control, because he lost so many units already. So, I have built Tier 1, obviously, so I'm getting Grenadiers. I built it at the beginning of the game. But I'm also building a medic bunker before I'm building Tier 2, which is not something I normally do as the Germans. Normally I build Tier 2 first. The reason I'm building the medic bunker first in this case is because I'm not expecting to be able to tech really quickly right now. When you consider the fact that I was cut off from resources for so long in the early game because my opponent used his forward HQ quite effectively, teching is going to take quite a while for me. And luckily for me, I was able to get behind him and cut him off from quite a few resources as well, so teching for him is going to take a while as well, and so I figured save myself the manpower by building a medic bunker and healing my units so that they don't just die and drop like flies if they're sitting at less than half health with all 4 men. So I figured that would be the way to go. I even have the munitions to afford the medic thing, whatever it's called. You will notice that my opponent now has a mortar. It's not the 200 mil mortar, not the 200, the 120 mil mortar. As far as I'm aware, it seems to be the smaller mortar. Oh gosh, what building does that even come out of? I can't remember. It's been so long since I played Soviets. I played nothing but Germans for the past 2 days. Um, so anyways, he has the mortar, and it's not the overpowered mortar, so that is good, but he does have a mortar, which definitely counters my MGs and definitely counters my Grenadiers when they're sitting in green cover. So, teching is getting a little bit more crucial here. I mean, I might have built a medic tent, but now I'm starting to feel the need to tech, and so I've teched to tier 3. And I'm going to grab myself a Panzer IV or 2. Watch this battle. Watch what happens here. I'm fully set up. I'm at full health. I'm at Vet 1 now, which really doesn't do anything in terms of combat. And look at what his Maxim MG does to me. I didn't even suppress his MG, and now his MG is just owning my men. Look at this. I'm already down to 2 men, even though I was retreating and was getting the retreat modifier. That, I don't know. That makes no sense to me, really. I mean, sure, the Maxim has 6 men, as opposed to my 4, but I was already set up. I should have pinned the guy. Granted, if I pinned him, he still would have been shooting, because that's the way MGs and mortars work. Any emplaced, not emplacement, but any gun like that, where there's a crew crewing it, even if they're pinned, they'll still shoot. Ooh, nice rifle grenade. Killed 3 guys, I think. But, as I was saying, that engagement really didn't make sense, but okay, I guess. I feel like the engagement was the same as the MG42 versus the 30 cal engagement from Company of Heroes 1, except the MG42 always won those engagements, not the 30 cal. In this case, the 30 cal won, which is the Maxim. But anyways, I just rifle grenaded his Maxim, and he lost 4 men in that squad. Flamethrower Pioneers, don't you dare get shot in the fuel tank. They don't get shot, but I have to retreat them, and they don't move when I press retreat. Instead, they just stand there, continuing to flame the enemy, and then died, so that's not good for me. But even though I lost that Pioneer squad, he has lost, he being my opponent, he has lost more manpower than I have overall this game. You'll also notice, looking at the minimap, that I have pushed him back. At one point, he lost so much manpower that I was able to push him back away from his HQ. I tried capturing his HQ, his forward HQ, that is, but it apparently doesn't work. Your troops just shoot at it with bullets, which is pretty stupid. You're not going to kill a house with bullets unless you keep firing at it for like an hour, and nobody has that kind of time in Company of Heroes 2. That was a terrible rifle grenade on that AT gun, but look at what we have, an AT gun! That is worthy of note, because the fact that he has an AT gun is not good for me, because if you look at the top right corner at the unit list, under the infantry you will see a Panzer IV. And so the AT gun has the possibility of killing my Panzer IV, especially when combined with conscript AT grenades. And I don't know if he has AT grenades, but if he does, he's smart to buy them. Well, even if he doesn't, he's still smart to buy them. He should buy them in a close-in map like this, because, like I said, this map is so close in that for my Panzer IV to shoot, there's no, like, the wide open area it can sit in and shoot at long range and kite the conscripts. It has to get in pretty close and then go up front and shoot them that way. So it's at quite a risk to AT grenades. If he doesn't have them yet, he should buy them. Looking at the minimap, I have cut off my opponent from the middle of the map. I haven't yet captured it. I think he's actually decapped it, is why I don't have it. And as a result, he has cut me off from all the resources on the map once again. But at the same time, he is also cut off from a lot of his resources. He still has more income than I do. He's not cut off from as much as I'm cut off from, but he is definitely cut off, so that's good. I did upgrade the MG42 on my Panzer IV. I always do that. It is such a good upgrade. Always do it. My MG42 died on retreat, so that's not good. Luckily I built 2, because the reason I built 2 was my opponent was going so infantry heavy that I figured I needed 2. And now we get to find out, does he have AT grenades on his conscripts? So let's go in here and find out. But the goal, what I'm trying to do here is actually find out if he has AT grenades. If he does, he should try and throw one, and then I'll squish him. That was my goal. Do you have AT grenades? If you do, you're going to have to stop moving, throw one, and I'm going to squish you as you throw it. That was the goal of doing this, and it turns out he does not have AT grenades, because otherwise If he did have them, he definitely would have used them by now, but he has not used them, so that tells me he doesn't have them. That conscript squad just died, so that is awesome. That's an MG42 he stole, I believe. Yeah, that's an MG42, and he stole it. It's the one he killed with the mortar in a conscript squad. It was like an MG42 versus a mortar, and the mortar won. Luckily, I have decrewed the MG42, so that is good. Rifle grenade on the Maxim. Send the Panzer IV over to deal with the Maxim as well. Deal with it, Panzer IV. Go kill it, because I want to capture this point and help myself out here. Look at the veterancy I already have. We're 15.5 minutes into this game, and I already have multiple Vet 2 squads. And there goes another full squad from my opponent. I believe that was the Maxim squad. The Maxim MG squad. So he's losing a lot of squads right now. So, let's go over what's happened so far. In the early game, actually, it's not yet. He has AT grenades. So this is not good. He now has AT grenades, and he's used them against my Panzer IV, and I know there's an AT gun somewhere here. So this could be potentially deadly, but I also have a lot of support in terms of infantry to support my Panzer IV. But the AT gun was actually right in front of my Panzer IV, and the infantry could not deal with it, and so I have lost my Panzer IV. That's not a good thing. So now let's do what I wanted to do. Let's go over the... Well, that's a waste of 60 munitions that my opponent is doing. I keep wanting to do something, and I keep getting distracted. So what I want to do is go over what's happened so far in the game. So in the early game, my opponent pushed me back, he pinned me in my base, but at the same time I cut him off from his resources as well, and so it was pretty balanced, but I won the manpower war. I was able to hold on to what little territory I had, and win the manpower war by just using my units better than he used his units, and also retreating on time, which is something he seemed to do really badly in this game. As a result, I had more units than he did towards the, I guess, the late early game, at the end of the early game. So at that point, I made a big push and captured most of the map once again. Away from him, not once again, but I captured most of the map away from him. And then, ever since then, it's been kind of back and forth. I am definitely still winning on the manpower front, however, and this game is nowhere near over in terms of victory points, because he has 395, I have 391. I was about to say 4, it looked like a 4, but it's a 1. So, this game's not even close to being over in terms of victory points, and so I'm glad I'm still winning the manpower war, and our resources in terms of fuel and munitions are about equal, so this is going well for me, because even if he has fuel and munitions, like I have, he can't use them because he's trying to replace all the squads he's losing because he's not using them effectively. Watch this rifle grenade. Booyah! But as I was saying, he's not using his squads effectively, and so he's losing manpower, and even if you have fuel and munitions, you really cannot use them if you don't have manpower. Simple as that. So, I'm more than happy to win the manpower war in exchange for map control at this point, because even if he has, like I've said this many times, even if he has fuel and munitions, you can't do anything without him. You can't do anything with him if you don't have manpower. I should stop talking about that now that I've said it like 3 times in a row. So I'm now building a Panzer IV once again, and my thinking with the Panzer IV was to deal with his MGs. I believe he still has an MG42 that he stole, at least 1 if not 2. Yeah, probably 1, considering I only built 2 this game and I still have 1. So he has 1 MG42. I think he's building Maxims as well. So the not the MG42, the Panzer IV is a good counter to that, and I believe I can trust myself to keep the Panzer IV alive this time. I mean, that time, I lost the Panzer IV at point blank to an AT gun. I don't know how I missed the AT gun being there and shooting my Panzer IV, but I did, and this time I'm hoping it doesn't happen. So, we'll see how it goes this time with the Panzer IV, but that is the goal. Looking at the top right corner, I have 2 Vet 3 squads and 1 Vet 2 squad. I am getting lots of veterancy. He's not getting any veterancy because he keeps having to replace his squads. It's another benefit to keeping your squads alive and winning the manpower war is simply getting the veterancy from it. Look at that huge blob right there. That was a perfect rifle grenade spot. I believe I even sent a rifle grenade in there if I had the munitions. I'm not sure if I did, though. Is this squad gonna get suppressed? They do get suppressed, but can they get away before the MG42 pens them? They actually do, so I will be capturing that point over there to reconnect the right side of the map to me, because my opponent had once again captured that point and cut me off from the map. He seemed to know this map really well. He did a good job cutting me off this game, but at the same time, as he's cutting me off, look at the minimap and look at that squad behind his lines capturing points of his and cutting him off from his own resources. It's like every time he cut me off, he sent his whole army there to cut me off, thinking it would starve me of resources, and yes, he's entirely right, but I'm still winning the manpower war, and because your whole army's in the middle of the map, I will simply go behind your lines and capture points so that you're also cut off, and then you have to do something about that. So, Panzer IV, so far so good, it's still alive. There's no MG42 on it, sadly, because I couldn't afford it. I mean, look at how many munitions I have. 29 munitions, and that thing costs like 60, 70? I believe it's 60 munitions to get the MG42 upgrade on top, so I am only halfway there to affording it. Oh, that's going to be a good rifle grenade if it goes correctly and the squads don't move. It actually wasn't a very good one, was it? Oh, there it went. Okay, that was an okay one. I really want to decrew that AT gun, though. You can probably understand why I want to. I want to keep this Panzer IV alive. I want my Panzer IV to be more useful, but his AT gun's making it difficult for my Panzer IV to be useful. AT grenade incoming, and it doesn't give me a damaged engine. That's one of the things that changed in one of the recent updates. Apparently, AT grenades do not always do engine damage anymore. It's like a 75% chance to do engine damage now, which is too low in my opinion. I liked it better when it always did engine damage. Even when I was playing as the Germans, it was reliable, like, it's not luck-based. I knew for a fact that I would get engine damage if I went too close. Now it's like, do I want to risk getting in too close and not getting engine damage? I don't know. Yeah, I don't like it. I liked it the way it was before, even as the Germans. I don't know if the change applies to the German Panzerfaust, though. I really don't know. I believe every Panzerfaust I've fired, ever since the update that changed AT grenades, has given a damaged engine to whatever vehicle I fired it at, so I don't believe the change applies to the German Panzerfaust, which is a bit interesting because the Panzerfaust comes free, while the AT grenades have to be upgraded in the HQ. I mean, they both cost munitions, that's not free, but you have to pay fuel and manpower in order to get the AT grenades, while you don't have to do that with the Germans, so I would feel like the Germans should have a worse option, and yet they don't. I mean, I guess with the Germans you do need line of sight. You can throw over a building with AT grenades, but it's still, the Panzerfaust is still a better thing right now. Anyways, mortar, counter mortar. Is this mortar gonna survive? Looks like it might if it starts running. There it goes. My mortar survived. Yeah, it's his mortar versus my mortar. I don't know. I haven't been paying close enough attention, but I don't know if that's my first mortar this game. I don't even remember how many mortars I've built this game, and yet I played this game just earlier today. So, I seem to be making a big push right now, and at this point I'm pretty confident that my opponent's lost enough squads to the point that my infantry can move in pretty safely, but he brings in an incendiary barrage, which really hurt me. Rifle grenade on the mortar. What's it gonna do? Oh, that was a nice rifle grenade. Oh yeah, that cost you quite a bit of manpower. This is a Vet 3 squad. Is it gonna get suppressed by the MG? It does. Aww. Well, I tell it to go attack the mortar anyways because I want to decrew the mortar. It only needs to kill one more guy, and the one more guy doesn't have very much health right now. So killing that last guy would be very, very nice, but they can't do it, they're pinned. I also sent my Panzer IV in around the back of the AT gun, and it's killing the AT gun's men, but as much as I might try to kill the men on the AT gun, I will never be able to decrew it unless I destroy that house that he's reinforcing from at forward HQ. So, I'm trying to keep my Panzer IV out of the firing arc here. I'm trying to get it to kill the AT gun crew, but it's really not going to happen until I kill that house. And I'm not going to be killing that house anytime soon, so this might go on for quite a while. This is very micro-intensive. Ooh, maybe now it'll change with the Grenadier Squad here helping. The MG42 on top of the Panzer IV is definitely helping, except it doesn't exist. My mistake. The coax machine gun is actually helping quite a bit. There goes the AT gun crew. Yes! The AT gun crew is dead. Now I can just leave my Panzer IV here, let it sit here, and shoot at the MG42 that he stole from me. This Grenadier Squad should go decap some points behind my opponent's front line and cut him off from resources. Just like he's done to me many times in this game. MG42 seems to be dead, so that is good. And my Panzer IV is just sitting there, possibly visible to him at that point, but I am moving my Panzer IV back to get repaired by an engineer squad, or rather a pioneer squad, as the Germans. A mortar and a conscript squad versus a grenadier squad. I would end up losing that fight if the mortar made even one shot anywhere close to my grenadier squad. He seemed to have no interest in fighting my grenadier squad there. That is quite interesting. It seems he's getting desperate at this point, which is a good sign for me. If he's getting desperate, that means he's lost so much manpower that he doesn't have very many units left. And so this is a good time for me to just make a final push on the map and take it over and win the game. Is he going to lose that whole conscript squad? He very well might. He very well might. Oh, no, he doesn't. He gets away. 2 Panzer IVs on the field now, if you look at the top right corner. I have made 2 of them. I figured it was a good investment because his AT gun was decrewed, and the likelihood of him building another AT gun is very low. If he did build another AT gun, then he wouldn't have enough anti-infantry, and I could just set the Panzer IVs aside and use my infantry to attack him. Oh, friendly fire mortar, or else my mortar, I don't know which one. But he just lost that entire engineer squad. I was about to call it a grenadier squad, but that's not what it's called. So now it's time for that one big final push. Time to push. Capturing the map with my Vet 3 squads. The mortar's going to die to a Panzer IV. The other Panzer IV is still being repaired. But it's time to push. You might have seen a little bit earlier, I typed in chat that he's lost too many squads in the earlier parts of the game, and that is exactly what has caused him to be so low on the number of units compared to how many units I have right now. I mean, I've lost my fair share of squads, but he's lost even more, and overall, in terms of just individual men lost, he's lost more manpower through that as well. So he's in a pretty bad position right now. He might have fuel and munitions more than I do because he cut me off longer than I cut him off, I believe. But he couldn't use it because he didn't have manpower. In the early game, I was able to hold on just long enough to be able to handle this and make a comeback. But look at what we have here. An Su-85 versus 2 Panzer IVs. I can tell you right now the Su-85 does not stand a chance. It might have a really long firing gun, but when it has a damaged engine and it has 2 Panzer IVs firing at it, it's screwed because it doesn't have much health or armor. It only has a really good gun. That is it. And a good sight radius, I guess, in front of it when you use that ability, whatever it's called. Another conscript down for my opponent. Wonderful. Panzer IVs coming over here with a damaged engine and still moving faster than the Su-85. Gets it from behind. It is dead. So that's an Su-85 for my opponent gone. I killed another conscript squad as well. He still has a mortar, as you can see on the minimap. It's killing some of my men. But he really doesn't have very much left at this point. That is basically all he has left. And if you look at the top right corner of the screen, you can see I have 2 Vet 3 squads, and 3 Vet 2 squads, and 2 Vet 1 squads, and a single Vet 1 Panzer IV. And this is all because I kept my units alive. he did not do as good of a job at... What? He did not do as good of a job at keeping his units alive, and that is why he won. So, lesson to be learned for you guys. You might be able to win the munitions and fuel war, but if you can't do anything with it if you don't have manpower. So work on keeping your units alive. It's so important. And if you're facing someone who cuts you off like he cut me off, then outplay him in terms of infantry, warfare, and make a comeback like that. You just have to hold on long enough at the beginning of the game to where you can dwindle his manpower down so far that you can just push him back and into his own base like I did here. So now, the only two squads my opponent had left are the mortar he has, which is actually Vet 3. He's kept that quite alive for quite a while with 18 kills, 4 friendly kills. Wow. But then he also has a brand new conscript squad, not a single bit of veterancy on it. So before that conscript squad arrived on the field, he only had a mortar. I had killed his entire army, basically. So, yeah, he definitely lost the manpower war, and it hurt him so bad. As we saw in this game, he actually did take up. He got the Su-85, but it was totally useless because he didn't have the manpower to support it. You just need manpower. It is the most important resource, and it's also the rarest resource. Anyways, guys, that is going to do it for this video. I hope you guys have enjoyed it and learned something, and you can play better now. This is one of the biggest tips I can give you in Company of Heroes and Company of Heroes 2. But I will see you all in the next video. Bye, guys. This is not good. Oh, kill that Vet 3 squad. Kill it, 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 kill it. Kill the Vet 3 squad. It must die. Kill it. No, my Panzer Grenadier squad died instead.